Hello, my name is Adair, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about personalization of learning. I think that this is an extremely in-depth topic, and so this is definitely just an overview, but I want to go a little bit further into what that keynote video touched on and how teachers truly need to personalize their teaching and, in response, their students' learning in their classrooms. I have a little bit of a table of contents for us just to talk about what we're going to dive in today. The first is that we're going to have a topic overview and really just talk about what is personalization of learning. What does that mean? Secondly, we're going to talk about the relevance and why this is something that should matter to us in today's world in the bigger scheme of things. Thirdly is the significance. What is the significance of this in education? What does all that mean for your classroom? Fourth are the ITSE standards. What do the ITSE standards have to say about this? Where am I? Are there organizations that are actually telling teachers to do this, such as ITSE? And fifth, thinking further, we're going to apply a little bit of everything we talked about to my particular field of study, marketing. So diving right in is the topic overview. The definition, or a definition of personalized learning, there's lots of different wordings of this, but in essence it's all the same, but it is an educational approach that aims to customize learning for each student's strengths and needs. So it is self-explanatory in its title, but truly it is when you're customizing learning for every strength, need, skill, or interest that your student may hold. Personalized learning, it really comes down to the fact that students have all different backgrounds, interests, and needs. Your students come from all sorts of places, and because of that, they're going to need all different types of things from you. In the past, teachers used to teach students all the same. But today, this has to change. This is not acceptable anymore. Our students are begging for something different, and it's time that we make their education meaningful and engaging. This comes in the form of all sorts of things. For example, using technology, having your students work in small group, and managing their different paces. In the video, I know it talks about programs that teachers can use to track the paces of different students so that you truly are personalizing a learning plan for each student and letting them work at their own pace. In addition, a way to look at this is holding learning constant and allowing the schedule to vary. So, on the other hand, where you can have a schedule and you are firm to it, and if people don't understand, but that's the only day that you schedule to work on it and you might move on, this is completely flipping that. This is flipping everything that you may know about sticking to a syllabus or sticking to a schedule, because here we want to hold learning constant. That's something that always should be happening in your classroom, and if your schedule needs to vary because of that, then that's okay. This is the part where we're going to talk a little bit about relevance of why this matters, and again, in the grand scheme, in a bigger picture. Students, the first part is students are not a one-size-fits-all. People come from all different walks of life and need all different types of things. And I'm sure as a teacher, you see the glaring differences of all of the children in your classroom. And so that is only apparent that students are not a one-size-fits-all. Another way this interconnects with the world is that culture is pushing personalization. People are finding personalization everywhere around them. Every website you go onto has the ability for you to make your own personal account. You can create a Bitmoji that looks like you on social media. You can make Nikes with your name on them. You can personalize clothes, all sorts of things. So it's extremely conflicting when people are finding joy in all these personalizations in pop culture, technology, and then you go into the classroom and it seems to be that one-size-fits-all mechanism. In addition, personalizing learning is going to increase overall satisfaction. People are happy when their needs are met. You're happy when you're full. You're not happy when you're hungry. And that is a most basic need being met. But at the end of the day, if you're meeting those learning needs, you're also going to increase satisfaction. Lastly, the reason why this is important, again, on a bigger scheme, is that you are creating competent and prepared global citizens. Personalizing learning is giving people what they need to go into their next step of life, to go into their career, make meaning out of their life. If they just float through the classroom and don't gain anything from it, they may never gain their calling or whatever that may be, or find their true passion and be, again, great citizens, people that actually make this world a better place. Now we're going to dive into a little bit of the significance and what this kind of means for the classroom. The first I want to touch on is trends. The responsibility is going to fall on the teacher to find out the trends of your classroom and understand where the adjustments need to be made. In order to effectively activate personalized learning in your classroom, you've got to find these trends in order to even know what maybe technologies you need to implement, what methods you need to implement. Secondly, success. Personalized learning is tied to learning completion. When you're teaching students in meaningful ways, they may be completing grades, they might not complete. They may complete high school or even go on to secondary education. Personalized learning has shown to make success. Off of the same idea, this means to education that this topic is critical. This is not something that is just fun to have a video about or maybe talk about on occasion, but this is something that is absolutely imperative. Having a student-centric classroom and teaching methods is no longer a nice goal to have, but it is something that is critical for success. Also, moving forward about what this means for education and truly the significance is that students fall through the cracks all the time, and it's important to know that students fall through the cracks, and you may only realize it when you're looking at graduation rates or fail or pass rates, but truly students are falling through the cracks even when you give out a blanket assignment or a one-size-fits-all assignment. Students fall through the cracks every single day with stuff like that. Practice. This is a practice and it is not a product. This is not a one-time deal or something that is a quick fix, but rather a whole transformation of the culture of your classroom. This is going to call for lowering of barriers in the classroom. Personalized learning cannot be done with traditional barriers, where it might not always have been to have practical or have been practical to have one-on-one student-instructor time or one-on-one student-student time. This is the time. It is now. Whether it might not have been practical in the long run, it's time to transform your learning and your teaching in your classroom, that these things that once weren't practical and were a form of a barrier are now things that are done on the regular because they enhance better learning. The fourth thing is the ITSE standards. And so this is not something that is just, again, a fun topic to talk about, but this is something that is actually called for teachers to do and implement in their classrooms. Teachers are instructed to be designers. I pulled this one and pulled out some of the actual instructions for teachers because I thought designers fit in really well with how you're to design a plan to personalize learning. Some of the things that it tells teachers to do is to design authentic activities, to create an accommodating environment, and by doing so you're maximizing active learning, and going off of that you're creating innovative learning environments. There are many other ITSE standards that also tie into the concept of personalizing learning, such as analyst, collaborator, facilitator. For example, being an analyst, you're analyzing the needs and progress of the students. Going on collaborating, you're collaborating with students to figure out the status of their learning, what they're mastering, their needs, and so forth. And facilitating is kind of a more mechanic type thing if you want to think about it, but you're facilitating this different level of teaching. You are creating a room environment. That is maybe not the standard. This is where I personally think it's very interesting, again, because this is my area of study, but personalized learning and marketing. This is not just a topic that is confined by walls of classrooms, and we kind of talked about this, how personalization is all over culture, so it really is a harsh comparison when you're used to personalization in your world, and then you come into the classroom and you're expected to fit into the guy beside you. But in marketing, I think it is very interesting because this is a place, again, that has proven success. It is a lucrative place. Marketing people enjoy having a sense of community, but also individuality at the same time. They want to feel as though the company is taking consideration to know them. Popular brands that incorporate this are Amazon when they suggest things to buy, or Netflix when you have your own profile, and again, it's continue watching or things you might like, all sorts of stuff like that. And just touching on success, email personalization boosts open rates by 26% and click-through rates by 97%. So personalization truly in learning and in marketing has success, and it's something that we need to pay attention to and definitely be aware of. And not only that, but it needs to be implemented. It is time. Thank you.